Hey Swifties! Welcome to a brand new episode of Swiftie School, where together we walk Clownelia Street covering the latest news and Easter eggs from our fearless leader, Taylor Swift. I'm your host, Reagan Bailey, and it is enchanting to have you here. Now that we're out of the woods, let's get into today's episode.
It's another great day to be alive at the same time as Taylor Swift. Hello. Happy VMA Wednesday to anybody who's punctual and listening to this the day that it comes out. Now, before we get into today's episode, per usual, this podcast is just an expression of my thoughts and opinions and is in no way, shape, or form associated with Taylor Swift or Taylor Nation, although I would love it to be. Now, let's get into the Swiftivities of the week. I feel like rather than diving headfirst fearless into the Swiftivities that are to come, we should talk about what's already occurred because holy guacamole, we have been being fed nothing but nonstop Tayvis content and my soul is happy. I know so many of you guys have been so excited about the Tayvis content that has been full streamline on social media constantly since, I don't even know, the first Chiefs game. But I just got back from New York, and me and Taylor must be on the same wavelength because clearly Tay is in New York as well. And there's a couple of things that I want to touch on. Obviously, I just got back from New York Fashion Week, which was so much fun. If you guys follow along on my personal Instagram, Reagan Bailey, and, liked that sort of content, I would definitely love any sort of feedback from you. But we obviously know that Taylor was in New York as well. And this kind of prompted me to bring up something because I feel like I haven't mentioned it or talked about it in a while with you guys. And that is that I just want to clarify the purpose of this podcast and sort of my opinions and thoughts and commentary and where sort of my line gets drawn, because I never want there to be a misconception. So if you've been listening for a while and you already know this, I apologize. But for anybody who needs a refresher, I have a deep admiration for Taylor Swift and the businesswoman, role model, philanthropist, and overall kind-hearted human being that she is. I fully recognize that I do not have a relationship with her, that I am merely just a fan looking from the outside in. There are so many nuances to a human being that we cannot assume that we know everything about this person or everything that's going on about their lives just by reading media outlets. I feel like from the teeny tiny taste of public, eye that I've had on myself through my content and my social media following, I have a very, 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 very teeny ability to relate to Taylor on the sense that, I think there's a level of fandom that can be invasive. And I've experienced this on my own on a couple of different accounts. But that aside, I get so many questions when little things pop up, such as Taylor Swift endorsing political candidates. And, has she changed her stance due to Brittany Mahomes' stance politically? I'm going to call it leaked in quotations. The leaked document regarding their breakup being planned and all this jazz. Number one, I'm going to say this once and for all, that document's fake. And that doesn't take much to recognize that. But beyond that, I have no interest in commentating on that. I understand that we dive into Swiftivities on this podcast, but for me, it is first and foremost important to recognize the privacy and safety of another human being. But secondly, I'm not here to report to you guys on things that are beyond, how do I describe this? There's a fine line with speculation, and I'm not willing to go deep into personal life speculation because for me, I'm uncomfortable with that. If I wasn't comfortable with someone else making a podcast episode about it, I'm not going to talk about it. So that's why I choose to stay away from episodes that are like complete timeline breakdowns and details and speculation as to how and why she broke up with certain people or why relationships didn't work out. I have no interest in that. This is someone that I look up to, and if I wouldn't want it said about myself, I'm not going to say it about her on the internet. So let's just leave it at that and dive into, little life update for you and kind of what I was up to in New York related to Taylor. And then I want to talk about just sort of the game day recap. Obviously, we've been getting a lot of Tayvis content, so I want to talk about the obvious in terms of what they've been wearing and what's to come. And then obviously we've got the VMAs coming up this week, so lots of predictions happening, and I just want to talk more about that. So sorry that was a little bit of a heavy note to start on. I just want to be super duper clear on my intentions with all things Taylor. I love talking about this with you guys, but there's also a fine line. And so if you see me not responding to your questions about this sort of thing, I reply to the things I'm comfortable with. And I talk about the things that I'm comfortable about. I'm sure there are other podcasts or other pages that are going to talk about every little nitty gritty detail. There are certain things that I just personally don't feel comfy with. So anyways, that's that. Sorry to be negative. Now, back to Fashion Week. I had a really cool opportunity to talk with Selena Gomez on a Zoom call. And I'm talking about this because obviously we know Selena Gomez is literally 1 degree separation from Taylor. And this was such an incredible opportunity. I talked about this a little bit on my Instagram stories about the fact that I feel very proud of myself for experiencing this opportunity, because so much of what I do is I want to show you guys at the core of everything that I do, whether it's talking about Taylor, showing you guys beauty content, showing off the outfits that I wear, whatever it might be, putting my vulnerabilities on display. At the core, I want to show you that, you can do anything you want in this world. And this was a really big moment for me because I have put out in the world for the past several years on social media and just anyone that I meet that I want to surround myself with like-minded people. I want my circle of people in my life to be uplifting. I want them to have you know, I love a diverse group of people, but I also want to have people in my corner that also believe in inclusivity, also believe in shooting for the stars. And I think having conversations with people like Selena, it furthers that mission that I have of, connecting with like-minded women, but it also shows you guys that literally anything is possible, and asking for an opportunity, it never hurts, right? And I think that a lot of people are scared to ask for opportunities and scared to I don't know, rejection. I understand rejection being scary, but there are so many things that if I wouldn't have asked for them, or if I wouldn't have tried them on social media, or if I wouldn't have talked about it, I never would have ended up on that call with Selena or had the opportunity to talk to her. And I'm manifesting that that's going to be the first of many for me. And I hope the same for you and whatever you're shooting for. And I hope that opportunity for you was cool to see and just a little boost of motivation like it was for me. Now, piggybacking off of that, Access Hollywood is another example of an amazing opportunity that I've had where, if you don't already know, I do commentary on Access Hollywood talking about the latest and greatest with Taylor and what I like to call Swiftivities. With Access Hollywood, this opportunity was really cool because now that I've kind of established myself and been on several times, they had asked me to come on and do a fashion related piece talking about Taylor's VMA looks from all the past years, or highlighting some of them, and talking about the designers, talking about the inspiration, talking about what the significance or relevance of the look was in relation to the era that she was in, or the time period, or whatever it might be. And it was a really cool departure from what I've kind of already done for Access Hollywood, and I had so much fun doing it. So I'm excited to announce to you guys that this is going to be airing before the VMAs, which is absolutely gargantuous for me. I'm so incredibly excited. It's going to be on E! News, Access Hollywood, and it's typically on around 7 or 7:30 p.m. and the VMAs come on at 8. So I'm very, 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 very excited. So if you have 30 minutes to spare before the VMAs, please turn on my segment on Access Hollywood on E! News. I am just so excited. I felt really good about how it went. Obviously, I don't see the final cut until it airs, but we recorded it literally in New York City at 30 Rock. Rockefeller Center at the NBC studio. Basically, think of it as like a giant office building, and then each floor has different studios. The studio I recorded in was literally the door next to Jimmy Fallon. So very, very cool, and just felt like another step up in sort of my career and the goals that I'm looking to achieve in terms of on-camera speaking, and I felt really good. We recorded for like an hour and 20 minutes, which was quite a bit. I've never recorded for longer than like 40 minutes. So it was a lot of talking, a lot of information. I studied really hard for it. I got like 3 hours of sleep the night before. And I'm very excited for you guys to see it. I'm very excited about the time slot and all that jazz. So anyways, speaking of the VMAs, we're going to talk about my predictions towards the end. But if this is maybe your first time like heavily following the VMAs is really, I consider like a low-key award season event, because it's kind of outside of like the typical award season, which I consider to be like early part of the year. Like next year will be like the typical award season that we see, kind of how we saw the announcement with Torture Poets. What was it, February? So VMAs is fan voted. I don't think artists care as much about the VMAs. I might be wrong about that, but because it's not voted on by like their peers, I think there's probably like they don't care as much. But again, I might be wrong. Perhaps we need to have a celebrity on the podcast to verify that for us. But it's fan voted, and I think that translates as well to sort of like the low-key casualness of the red carpet. I feel like fashion-wise, it's a lot more, I would consider it like personality-based looks versus these show-stopping Met Gala-esque, fancy attire, if you will. So I'll talk more at the end about my predictions with Taylor, but I want to do a little game day recap and introduce this to the podcast now that we are officially back in NFL season. What's the NFL tune? Maybe I'll have Matt work on a little audio that I can insert whenever I'm talking about NFL stuff. But NFL season has officially commenced. Kansas City Chiefs versus Baltimore Ravens was the first game of the season. And from my little Googleroo, if you will, before this game, what I had learned when doing the last episode is that this was a pretty big matchup for them. And it was exciting win. If you tuned into the game, the Chiefs literally won this game by a singular toe, perhaps even like a toenail clipping, honestly. It was so small of a margin that they won this game by. In the last couple of seconds of the game, the Ravens tight end, Isaiah Likely, he basically appeared to catch this like 10-yard touchdown as the time on the clock expired, which basically would have either tied or won the game. But his toe, like, it was just barely touching the end zone line when he caught the pass, which then was led to being overturned and obviously led the Chiefs to win the game 27-20 with the Ravens. Now, I gotta say, pat on the back there. I feel like maybe I'll be an ESPN reporter. Who knows? That would be the biggest plot twist of all time. Maybe the ESPN will hire me to be a Swiftie reporter. I mean, that would be very smart of them, honestly. I feel like what we need is me green screened at the bottom of the Chiefs games, giving like a Swiftie translation of whatever just happened, or like the layman's terms. I feel like we need to pitch this. We need to pitch this to the ESPN. ESPN, if you're out there, call your girl up. Now, Taylor's outfit to the game. I'm calling it a Canadian tuxedo, Taylor's version, because Canadian tuxedo is typically known as wearing denim on denim, and Taylor did just that. We saw the Versace little corset denim top with the denim shorts and the Va-Va-Voom red boots. Now, holy smokes, these boots were absolutely, I don't even have a word for them. I have a noise, which is that's what I'm calling the boots. The red boots are that sounds pretty good. Anyways, little cat ASMR for you. The denim on denim look was a choice. And I think this was an incredible choice because it really put a complete screeching halt to all the little Brads, Dads, and Chads that were just yapping their mouths complaining about Taylor being in attendance. And she said, yeah, we're going to complain about me wearing this Va-Va-Voom outfit? Because, whoa, baby, she stepped out and she came in fierce. I don't think that she will go this hard for every game this season, but I think it was a fantastic way to step out for the first game of the season, really making an appearance, making a statement, and she was there for her man. If we want to be honk honk beep beep clownery about it, we could say that she was wearing a Canadian tuxedo, Canada, something with the Toronto, Vancouver shows of the tour. I don't know, just putting that out there. I'm not really clowning that hard for that. I think it was just an interesting call out. Now, she was in the suite, and she was in the suite with Travis's parents, which was very cute, very fun. We love that. I feel like Ed Kelsey is kind of hilarious in how casual he is, like sitting next to literally the Taylor Swift, but love that for them. Now, looking ahead to the next game, we've got Sunday, September 15th, which is going to be the same day as my next clown call. So if you're interested in joining, head to Patreon, patreon.com/Swiftie School. You can join. I can't remember if it's the senior. I think it's the senior and sorority tier for the next call. It's clarified on my Patreon. Join one of those tiers. You could join the call same day as the next Chiefs game, which is Sunday, September 15th, happening at 4:25 p.m. Eastern Time at Arrowhead Stadium. So it's a home game. We love that for the Chiefs. And Taylor is open in terms of like she doesn't have a Eras Tour show, so she's open to attend. Fingers crossed that we're going to be seeing another appearance. My vote is most likely yes, being that it is a home game and she's available. Now, in terms of the Tayvis outings that we have been getting, oh my gosh, what is it, like 4 nights, 5 days? It's like 5 days in a row that we've seen Tayvis, and these looks are eating. I don't care what you say. Here's my thoughts on Travis. People have a lot of thoughts and opinions. I don't believe in commenting on people's appearance. I think that they are both incredibly good looking. I don't care what you think. Say what you want. They are incredibly good looking human beings. Travis, what I find so admirable about this man is men more so than women are highly criticized when they do something that is, it's interesting. I feel like men are highly criticized or highly celebrated depending on the avenue that they take with their risks. And I think fashion-wise, because fashion is typically 100% geared towards women, I think when men are experimental with their fashion, it's never celebrated. Not often, I should say. And for him, I feel like what I love is that he's fearless in how bold he is in being himself, and I feel like he really beats to his own drum. And that's incredibly hard to do when, number one, you have so many eyeballs on you. Number two, you are a male figure of an incredibly masculine sport. And number three, when you're dating the biggest pop star in the world. I think it would have been very easy for Travis to revert to like being very safe with his fashion options. And I love that he quite literally is headfirst fearless into his fashion era. And I think that he's always kind of served looks, but I feel like it's just fun to see Taylor associated with and romantically with someone who seems so confident and bold in who they are as an individual. And I think more of us should take that away rather than like criticizing what either of them are wearing. I think it's really fun and cool to see role models in 2024 that are expressing themselves however they want. And I think what I admire and have always admired about Taylor is she does that in a way that's still modest and true to her. Like, she doesn't feel the need to subscribe to trends that are off brand for her just because it's a trend. She's really like always kind of stayed like, people sometimes critique her fashion because they're like, oh, I want more from her. But I'm like, you know what? I like what she does already, which is stay true to herself. And that's all you can ask for. So when speaking on these outfits, keep that in mind because that's kind of how I feel about all of these looks regardless. September 6th, we had the dinner at Lucali Pizza in Brooklyn. So fun to see them out and about. Taylor was in an all black look. I think this is a good reminder that all black looks fantastic on literally everybody. And I really like the pairing of the mesh top with the blazer and the skirt. I feel like it was really fantastic fall transitional piece. You cannot go wrong with an all black look, black on black on black. And Taylor, I feel like her core accessories that we continually see, obviously her red statement lip, but she likes a thigh-high boot. She likes a tall over-the-knee boot, and I think if anybody who can pull off a tall boot, it is Taylor, who has 6-foot legs. She's literally all legs, this woman, and I'm so jealous of that. And now Travis had a really cute kind of cream sweater this night, and he paired it with a striped pair of pants. Looked very comfortable. I feel like it was actually a really good display of the like boxer trend or the pajama pant trend that a lot of people have been wearing, but done right on a male. And I think it looked very comfortable. I think it looked chic. I think it was very fitting for an evening, casual evening out, grabbing dinner at like a small Brooklyn pizza shop. I also read that this pizza shop was like kind of struggling at the time, and it's kind of in this like weird lesser known area of Brooklyn. So I think it's cool that they supported a small business, and I would love to know how they kind of land upon where to grab dinner at night. Is it just like recommendations from friends? Do they go on Yelp? I don't know. Now, all the outfits that I'm speaking on, if you are interested in the like exact links to any of them, if you don't already follow Sarah Chappelle, I've talked about her before. She's got an incredible book coming out soon, but she is at Taylor Swift Styled over on Instagram, and she shares all the exact links if you're interested in supporting her affiliate links there. Now, the next day, Saturday, September 7th, was the wedding at Electric Lady Studios. Now, so many of you guys were like, oh my gosh, is Travis going to be on an upcoming album? Is she recording? You guys, Taylor does not wear a casual Zimmerman dress to Electric Lady Studios with Travis in tow to go record. Maybe she did. I don't know. Maybe I'm totally wrong, but she was 100% there for a wedding. This wedding was for Electric Lady Studios owner Lee Foster and Karen Elson. And Karen is an incredibly well-known worldwide global supermodel with incredible fiery red hair. And then Lee Foster is the Electric Lady Studios owner. Now, I genuinely feel like in this moment, so many people said that this was like very much a Sandy, Danny, Grease moment for Taylor and Travis. This is the best Travis has ever looked, in my opinion. I think he looked absolutely ravishing in an all black look. The star of the show was his haircut. I think it looked so great. I really liked this look from both of them. I don't know what it was, if it was like the contrasting white with the black combination. I think they looked so just ravishingly beautiful is my best description. We also saw Lana Del Rey in attendance, and really fun to see her with her new boyfriend, which a lot of people are deeming or coining like the alligator boyfriend. Because Lana Del Rey met her new boyfriend or person that she's seeing on like a boat tour in a swamp somewhere in like Louisiana or something like that years ago. And I guess they've been spotted out together recently. She was in attendance with said alligator boyfriend. And I love that for her. I love that. She looks absolutely fantastic as well. If you've not seen the images of her, she's sort of in this like baby blue, powder blue dress. It's very pretty, silky, very Lana Del Rey. And for me, Lana Del Rey is just always timeless, like timeless beauty. Her fashion really transcends to like any time period. I think she's just absolutely drop dead gorgeous. Now, fast forward, we've got Friday, Saturday, Sunday. They were on like a literal tour of New York City because this was absolutely crazy how much they squeezed into this like 3-day weekend situation. Sunday, they attended the US Open. And I have a theory here for you guys. We saw Patrick and Brittany Mahomes in attendance as well. And it seemed like Travis and Brittany's outfits, well, it didn't seem like. They were both wearing Gucci looks, serving Gucci, if you will, since we're talking about tennis. Travis and Brittany were both in Gucci looks, and I have a feeling that this was a paid collaboration with Gucci to promote their latest collection. Either that or they had some sort of deal where their stylist was working with Gucci and these looks were gifted to them or heavily suggested that they wear them to the US Open. I don't know the significance of it, but I feel like a lot of people wear white to tennis. Is that a thing? Am I making that up? I mean, both Travis and Brittany were in white, Gucci white outfits. I think it would have been corny / cheesy and off brand for Taylor to match Travis in a Gucci outfit, but we did see Taylor the next day in Gucci. So I have thoughts there as well. But I think that it seemed more on brand for like Brittany and Travis to both wear it. This could have been complete coincidence. I don't think it is, being that we saw Gucci the following evening with Taylor. Not totally sure if Taylor has a relationship with the fashion house or if they just genuinely liked this latest collection from Gucci. For me, Gucci has ups and downs in terms of like their looks. I really like Gucci's current era of handbags. I think Gucci has done a great job of finding relevance again. I feel like they kind of fell off the map, in my opinion, and have sort of revived themselves brand-wise. But Taylor wore this really cute, like gingham red plaid dress. I think it was super on brand for her. She had this black pair of cat eye sunglasses from the brand Crap Eyewear. If you've never heard of it, it's very popular here in Los Angeles. I believe they have a store in Venice Beach and or Santa Monica. Very, very popular. The price point of the sunglasses are about $99, and apparently they hold up really well. So I think it's fun to always see how Taylor pairs high and low together. If you follow Sarah, who I mentioned from Taylor Swift Styled earlier, she always kind of talks about this, how Taylor, it's been like a long-standing thing for her to pair high end and low end, and that's something that I personally like to do as well. I don't invest a ton in like designer wear, like clothing per se, but I do love a good, statement piece of jewelry or handbag. And it's fun for me to kind of mix and match those in my wardrobe with things like a dress from Target and a, higher end handbag. So anyways, very cute look. And then the following evening, which I feel like was less talked about on social media, but still equally as cute, was a double date with both Brittany and Patrick Mahomes yet again. And this dinner was at Medusa. I'm calling it Medusa, but it's with a Z. Meduza, Mediterranean, again, in New York City. Now, I wanted to call out, regardless of how this is pronounced, we have the Medusa restaurant. 3 days after Taylor was wearing Versace, that denim corset top, which was called the Medusa Bustier. I never know how to say that word either. Bustier or Bustier? I think it's Bustier. Regardless, the Medusa top at the Chiefs game on the 5th. Slither, slither, hiss, hiss. I love this for her. And again, I don't know if it's any sort of relevance to Rep TV. Do I really think that Taylor is sitting there scheming where they're going to eat out for dinner because Rep TV is coming? No, but I think it's fun to clown nonetheless. Now, speaking of outfits and what's to come and predictions and all this jazz, I want to hit on the VMAs very briefly. Obviously, by the time this episode comes out, the VMAs will be happening. I'm just going to put out into the world, I would love to see Taylor in a floor-length red outfit. I think it's been a minute since we've seen her in a full red outfit. Obviously, the US Open, we did see her in that very cute little red gingham dress. I feel like red and like a fiery orange are both fantastic colors on her. I also love a royal or cobalt blue. All of these in which we've seen in her surprise song dresses that look absolutely amazing on her. I think primary colors really complement her skin tone super duper well. We've already seen her in green recently. We saw her in black at the VMAs last year, and I think just like a really fun pop of color would be really beautiful on her. But with the Zimmerman dress and the florals, I was like, florals would be pretty. But calling back to the folklore kind of floral dress, I feel like we've kind of seen floral from her. So I'd love to see something like really statement and color and bold and forward. And I also wouldn't mind to see her in an updo. I feel like her hair's been down a lot recently, and I would love to see like a really pretty, I don't know. I'm like going like this with my hands if you're watching on YouTube, but like something up. I don't know. Maybe she doesn't like her hair up. I feel like we see her hair down quite a bit. But those are my predictions. I'm going for solid color. I'm going for maybe something empire waist, perhaps strapless. I don't really see her doing a sleeve this year. I don't know. I'm just very curious. I'm very curious, very excited, and I think it'll be a absolutely fantastic night. And if you're excited about the VMAs, of course, check out my Instagram. Go to the next episode because I am going to be doing a total master recap on all that for you. Now let's go ahead and close things out per usual with Swiftie submissions. I've got 2 for you today, and the first one is going to be from Rachel T. And Rachel T says, I have a crazy theory that Taylor is going to shock us on Friday, September 13th with a surprise double album announcement/drop. I think she's going to announce both Reputation TV and Debut TV on 9/13, but Reputation will be available immediately for streaming and Debut will be announced for a December 13 release. It just makes sense to drop Reputation TV on the anniversary of the Kanye VMA incident, and it makes more sense to drop Debut TV on her birthday, especially since both are Friday the 13th this year. I like this. This gives her the chance to still incorporate Reputation vault tracks into the Eras tour. This gets both of the remaining TV albums out by the end of the year, so plenty of holiday merch opportunities, and she can start 2025 with a clean slate. Snaps to this. We know that Taylor will rarely pull the same trick twice, and she loves to throw curveballs. I think that this might be the most epic way to, quote, reclaim her name and reputation at the same time. What are your thoughts? Rachel, I am so aligned with this theory. I have thought for a while that Taylor doesn't want to be coined as like a one-trick pony by announcing something again at another award show. It might feel stale. It might, I don't know, be borderline offensive to a lot of her female friends that are there and being recognized. She might not want to pull attention away from that. So I think that pausing on a VMA announcement, delaying it 2 days to the 13th makes fantastic sense. I think that we will absolutely see clues or hints dropped, whether it's through an acceptance speech, whether it's through her jewelry, whether it's through her outfit, whether it's through her and Travis on the red carpet doing like some hand signal or numbers or something like that. I think that this just makes sense. And I think it'll keep people on their toes and it'll keep people interested in the re-records without dragging it on too long. Because my honest opinion is I really didn't anticipate the re-record process to be this sort of 3-4 year experience. And I think that with rounding out the tour, I've said this time and time again, it just makes sense to end the re-records with the Eras tour so she can move on to this next chapter of her life and start working on whatever is next for her creatively. Because reality is anything that is released in conjunction or the same year as Reputation or Debut, those things are going to be talked about so heavily that I feel like it'll overshadow whatever she chooses to do next, whether that's down the road or next year or 2026, whatever it might be. So snaps to you, Rachel. I think this is a fantastic theory. And once we have a better idea of what happens on the 13th, you bet your bottom dollar, we will be talking about it here. Now, next is from Emma W. And Emma W says, Taylor's last Eras Tour concert is on December 8th, 12/8. And I feel like this could hold some significance relating to her re-records. In numerology, 8 represents achievement and reaching goals, while 12 stands for perfection and entirety. Ooh. Since her re-records have been her goal, and by finishing them, she will own the entirety of her music, I believe that Taylor will make some kind of announcement and release at her December 8th show, either completing her re-records or announcing the last one. At very least, I think this show could hold some kind of significance because how could it not? What are your thoughts? Okay, I love these like in-depth theories, you guys. So please, if you ever have theories like this, please send them my way via the form. You can find it in my description of the podcast episode, on my website, on my email newsletter, in my bio on Instagram, all the places. Emma, I love the numerology aspect of this. I also feel similarly that we're going to see something to kind of, I don't want to say bring this project to a close, but the Eras tour was so monumental in so many different ways that I think I could see her kind of piggybacking off of what Rachel said in her submission. Like, I could see her rounding this out and then leading us into whatever she has next. And it doesn't necessarily mean like she's going to make an announcement or drop something, but I could see her leaving breadcrumbs. I could see her doing some sort of like, I don't want to say a music video, but maybe a music video, but like a trailer or something that she plays at the last show where it's like, you know, a thank you to her fans. Maybe I could just see something that puts a perfect bow on all of it. I don't see her just closing it out and going black. I see her kind of doing something to like lead, kind of like push the ship into the water, sail us off into the sunset. And I think this could be fun. I really like how you called out that this is perfection, entirety, achievement, goals. These numbers just feel right. What do they add to? 8 plus 2 is 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. I don't know if the whole entire date adds up to anything, but I like the call out of the significance of these two numbers. I'm going to end on this note because I think this was such a fun Swifties missions today. I absolutely love chatting with you guys about all this stuff, and I'm so grateful that you're here. If you choose to share this with a friend, please know that I'm incredibly grateful. I would love for you to subscribe over on YouTube if you prefer to see me in the flesh. Hi, my cats are often behind me. And I just feel like we're going to have a really good fall. I have good vibes. I feel like vibes are high. We're having fun. And I'm so grateful that you guys choose to show up week over week and support me and the podcast. Thanks so much for being here. It's another great day to be live at the same time as Taylor Swift. And I will see you on the next one. Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to today's episode. I know all too well how busy life can be, and I am so grateful that you chose to stay. Now just know this is me trying, and I would greatly appreciate if you took a minute to leave a review or maybe share this episode with a fellow Swiftie. Make sure you join my broadcast channel on Instagram for more Swiftivities, and long story short, this love is real, and I'm beyond grateful for your support. See you next time.